So today we're going to do the water pump on this Nissan D21. I noticed when I was changing the oil there was a little coolant streak down the front of the engine. I'm assuming it's coming from the water pump weep hole. Either way, had this truck a few years, never changed water pump on it, don't know. So just relatively cheap, relatively easy, so we're just going to shoot the parts cannon at it. Alright, so your overflow tube might not be in the way. Mine was originally located here, which I put a bigger battery in. I put the same battery that fits in my Jeep, so I only have to remember one battery type. So to do that, I relocated the bottle over there, and so now I got to remove it. Just tuck it out of the way. Remove the intake if your still has it. Alright, so to remove the water pump, we got to loosen up the belt tension here. I'm having a hard time getting the belt off. I think I'm just going to take the pulley off. It looks like it's, let's see. Use a screwdriver or something long and flat to hold the fan in place while you remove the nuts. To get those washers off, I'm going to use a magnetic tool. They're almost impossible to get off with your fingers. It's on this fan shroud. It looks like a big Phillips head. I think it's one of those Japanese JP2 screws or whatever. But I've got a screwdriver somewhere for it. But I can't find it, so I got a big Phillips number 3. We'll see if that fits. Seems to be fitting it pretty good. And it does. Works like a charm. Whew. Damn it. There's 2 more screws, one right around here and on the other side. And I think the hose pipe's got to come off. Boy, this is turning into a bigger and bigger job. So the shroud and the fan came out, one piece. What the heck is that? This thing, I tell you. Remove the 5 bolts holding the water pump on. If your pump won't come off, just give it a tap. Make sure you have all the bolts out, or you might screw it up. So there's the weep hole on the bottom. You can tell it's been leaking around that for a while. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm replacing it. I just got to clean all this goop up. Clean the mating surfaces and put the new one on. Something you want to do is match up the new one with the old one and make sure the impellers are facing the same way. They look like they are. One thing you might notice is the old one has the studs on it and the new one don't. Luckily, they come in the bag. Why they didn't put them on there, I don't know, but they're easy to put on. If you look at the studs, you got a short side and a long side. Short side goes in like so, and you just take a nut, thread it on there a little bit, and take the second nut, thread it on there, and now you just turn that second nut with a wrench. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. Two hands. Alright, so I'm going to do my little trick of RTVing on the gasket. Just put a little bit on the water pump. It's a thin, light coat just to hold the gasket in place. Try not to get it on the inside of the water pump. I've heard people say that they never used gasket sealer, but man, every time I don't do it, I get a leak. And you put the gasket on, and then a thin layer on the gasket. You gotta get all that water out of the way. There you go, and you just get the bolts on. Torque specs on it is 24 pounds. I'm going to use the good German method of good and tight. There you have it. Now all I got to do is just put it all back together. You don't need me a video to show you how to do that.